but yeah, Ian might be trolling.
Shout outs to Ian and the crew.
Hey, you're not gonna say it, Bret? Hit him.
Oh, I definitely wasn't going to say that since we're recording now, but yes, hit the small child. Hit him. Hey, everybody, welcome to Let's Die. This week, it's a his versus hers versus his. I had to think about how many people there are. There's 4 of us. Guide to the Apocalypse. Gosh, math is hard. Who made it? And I want to slap them. My name's Bret, it's your boy, Mountain Man from West Virginia, and this here's a show where we talk about impossible things and sometimes how to survive them. However, this week we're talking about a little something that's not quite so impossible. In fact, it should be impossible because it's quite honestly the worst of humanity, and we'll get to that. But joining me is a holy trinity of people whom we have not seen since last season, all together here at once. First up, I'm just going to pick randomly here. Nick, buddy.
Hello.
There he is. He's the ghost with the most and the arts with the farts. Everyone remembers Nick from our Jurassic World Revealed series and our currently ongoing Infected series. We were currently repetitively infected. So check those out. Next up, Zoey's back from Life is Stranger Danger and Mass Effect and Transformers. Hey, Zoe.
Hey.
And also from those same episodes minus Life is Stranger Danger, Transformers, and both Transformer episodes we did. The first Transformer one, the Unicron one, and the Mass Effect one. Chris is back. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Bret. How's it going?
It's going fantastic. I don't know if anybody can tell, but the energy level is up in my brain. Sadness is washed away. I've been low in these depths of darkened voids for so many weeks, and it's definitely come through my podcasting, I think. And if you couldn't tell, go back and listen to me then and then now. Welcome back. Thanks for giving me those listens. So before we dive in here, let's just go around the room here. What's up, y'all?
Not much.
Things and stuff.
Yeah.
Things? We like things and stuff. Nick, you been up to anything new?
I'm trying to write a comic. I have no idea if anyone's going to care, but I'm going to write it anyway.
Well, I'll read it anyway.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit about it, or is it still something under wraps that you don't want?
Oh, no. It's honestly, it's probably a bad sign that I never quite know how to sum it up. I had a great explanation. But short version, a kid learns to not suck through learning about martial arts and heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun.
So one of those
not sucking
style,
good
montage be cool movies.
But
just consider this like a promise. You've put it out there in the universe, so now you need to finish it.
Oh yeah, no, it's just I have so many other things that I'm doing, some of which are productive and some of which aren't. That like it's going really slow.
I will never mention things on the podcast that I'm terrified that I won't be able to finish. Things like my other book that I'm writing, or like the music project I'm currently been working on, or like the various art things. I'm never going to mention those ever, because then I'll feel like I have to finish them. I won't be able to bail out.
You acknowledge that they exist.
No, I didn't. I'll cut all this out. I'll cut everyone out. Don't you ever. Sorry. All right. So yeah, the worst thing. Well, not the worst thing. There's plenty of things on this earth that are pretty bad, and this is a bad thing. But it just kind of showcases the worst of, the worst traits of our species, and that's Black Friday. Everyone here has been assembled because we've all had retail experience in the workforce places, right? Am I wrong?
Yep.
Sweet. So I did it. So yeah. Thanks to everyone for showing up. I know y'all are late to your meetings with your managers for taking 16-minute break instead of 15. Zoe, I think you're the most current one of us with retail experience. Maybe Nick. I don't know who's retail last, but have you ever worked a Black Friday?
I've worked 2, 3,
Two.
2.
Veteran. Can you tell us about it?
The first one was for Walmart, and
Oh my
it
God.
actually went okay, except for the fact that I almost like slid and killed myself because the way that Walmart is laid out is for all the big purchases, people had to go around the back of the store, and we have a gate that goes one way, and the people who were paying attention and doing the right thing, they were being smart. But then there's people coming the other way trying to get into the fucking gate, so we had to scramble in the back fucking room to open the gate so that they wouldn't hit the gate and sue us. So one of the times I'm running to hit this fucking button, like I slid and like my head was inches away from the corner of a pallet. So I got lucky, but that was the worst thing to happen that night besides a late break.
Dang.
And then for Home Depot, I was doing double duty as both a lot attendant and a cashier. And then when I was in the lot, I almost got ran over like 4 times. And then,
Wow.
yeah.
You
And
get them
then,
doorbusters.
right? And then somebody tried to steal like $2,500 worth of stuff.
Oh, fancy.
It was
Is
like
it the
my
name
first
of
day
the episode?
being trained for a cashier, and this guy tried to walk out with $2,500 worth of shit. He didn't succeed, but
Is that the name of this episode? Who are you going to call doorbusters?
Yeah, probably. I think that's a good.
We love
that's a good
we
name.
love our puns. Nick, how about you, buddy? Got any Black Friday horror stories? Keep in mind, y'all, today is Black Friday. The day is it
Oh.
not? This is surely recorded live on the scene of the crisis.
Well, depending on how today is going, I might be really mad at Belk, but we'll see.
You worked for a certain video game related store for a long time, didn't you, Nick?
I
Yes,
did
for a couple
too.
years.
That's
Oh
my
my God.
that's my experience. If it's the same place I'm thinking of,
It probably is.
they own like 90% of the market as far as video games goes.
Guess what? I also have experience at this video game
Oh my
establishment.
Yeah.
I have tried to
Crazy.
get on them and get with them like multiple times, and every time they just ignore that I exist as a human being.
Tell you what, big GS, big video game. If you want us, we will gladly delete this episode and pretend it never happened.
Exactly.
Small price of a sponsorship. Maybe some.
Especially
But,
one with big pockets, like they do.
Not anymore.
I
Well,
heard they weren't doing so hot.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they just laid off like a lot of people from a certain magazine establishment called Game Informer,
God. This
That'd be still
doesn't
sore about
surprise me.
which infuriated me because I love that podcast and I love that magazine. And yeah, it's like, hey, this one thing of our company's doing really well. Let's axe like 10 people or whatever.
Oh, there's kitties down there.
Nick, you got any more stories? Did you ever work a Black Friday?
Yeah, I worked a couple. Like working back at the big G in the day. Like you were expected to be there.
I just didn't want to put anybody on. If anybody still currently works in any establishment that I'm not aware of.
Nope.
My current job does not participate in Black Friday, so
There you go. Yeah. I was
not
was
upset by this.
running with the gag, but like, all right, we're just gonna say a GameStop.
Oh,
He said the word.
You lied to me.
better kick my door in. There's the man there.
So yeah, I worked a couple times. It was a mall GameStop too. So
Mine was too.
Oh my God.
Right inside this huge mall. It was like a little corner store. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's like it kind of sucks because it's been just long enough. I can't really remember like a lot of details.
Same.
I don't have any juicy like, oh, this thing happened. But I just remember like probably the craziest one is I also worked at a kiosk in the mall too. And I basically ended up going in at like
Oh God, like
6
back and
a.m.
forth.
and close. Well, no,
Oh.
not at the same time, but it's like
Okay.
I worked like a 6-hour shift at GameStop and then went straight over to the other one and worked the rest of the day at the kiosk. So it was basically like a 6 a.m. to like.
That you were about ready to
11
drop dead
p.m.
when you got home.
Unfortunately, the kiosk job mostly involved a lot of sitting around.
Okay.
But and trying to make sure nobody walked off with
Good
sunglasses.
stuff. Yeah.
So, ultimately, yeah, that's the thing. I just remember a haze of people walking past, asking the same questions over and over again, which I don't even remember what they were. I just remember getting the same ones over and over again, and then sitting at a kiosk for hours on end and starving to death because I couldn't go get food.
Yep, I remember
All
that.
of those are basically the same for every day. The same questions over and over. Sitting around, starving, and not trying to get people to not steal stuff.
Goddamn Christmas music over and over.
That's like every day.
Dude, that's not even limited to Black Friday though. That's like every day after Halloween.
Yeah. I hate my life. I went in, it was early October, and I walked into a Sam's Club, and there was Christmas stuff out, and I wanted to burn the entire store to the ground. I was so mad, just furious.
Yeah, I'm extra upset at Black Friday this year because I'm supposed to be out of it. Like, I still work in retail food, so Black Friday is usually pretty busy for us. But it's not so busy that it's like something weird. And usually, like, I can make a deal with my manager to be able to go see family. But this year, there's discussion of a store possibly ordering like some huge order for Black Friday. So like I might not be able to go out of town this year for that. So
if you need a place to weather the storm, you can always tell them you're sick and just come to my house. They'll never find you.
There you go. That's the ticket. I started telling the story and I'm like, how did we get started on this? What is wrong with me? I'm stupid.
It's good. It makes for great content. We start one place and we end up on Mars. I'm fine with it.
Excellent.
Then you would love my dad on this show. Or curse his name to the heavens. I'm not sure which, but one of the two.
Chris.
Yes, I actually do have one story. It's not like nothing huge, but it was just kind of a funny thing. When I was also working at the big GS, this guy came in on a Black Friday, and he bought 4 PlayStation 2s. That just shows you how old it's been, because PlayStation 2s. But he bought 4 of them all in one go. It was just to show you how crazy it is. It's like, thankfully he paid in cash, because we were like, oh crap, when he came in and asked for 4 of them.
It's bananas.
Mm-hmm. And he must have had a lot of nephews or grandkids or something. He was buying all 4.
Or he was gonna do what most people do when they do that shit, and they buy those consoles and then resell them.
Yeah, for a lot. Yeah,
especially on Black Friday, they do that stuff all the time.
Yep, I know.
When I was on the True Achievements website, primarily, like, there's so many people who would talk about doing stuff like that. Like, it bothers me because, then there's people who actually want to go and get this stuff, and now they can't
actually play it, and
the price is jacked up by like another $200 because scalpers.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think we all have a problem with scalpers. Like, scalpers have been the bane of my existence ever since I was probably about 5 years old, and I decided I wanted to start buying Transformers.
Right?
Yeah,
there was a local shop. As we go off in the left field, there was a local shop, like a comic store. They didn't actually have a supply line from any retailer, so they just come and buy all the stuff from Toys R Us. And like trying to get in there before they could like buy everything was always like a pain. So,
yeah, I mean, the only way that you can do it is if you actually work for those stores.
Yeah.
And even then, like, when I worked for Walmart or anything like that, I never felt like I could just, go ahead and hold something for myself. Although I did get my PlayStation 4 while I was working for Walmart, and I basically was just like, okay, so we got like 6 or 7 of them in today, and nobody's bought them, so can I have one? And they're like, sure.
There you go.
Quick side story, Nick, you reminded me of it when you brought up scalpers and Transformers. I was working retail for, I think it was Kmart. It had to have been Kmart. And we was selling movie toys from the first Transformers movie, circa 2007. And someone had bought they brought it. They didn't steal it. They bought it and they returned it, and it was Brawl, the tank, and I think it was a Voyager, if I'm not mistaken. Like there was
I believe Brawl was a Voyager.
Yeah, there was a Voyager. There's a couple different versions of him. It was the bigger version. Well, they had returned it with a different toy inside because they wanted to get the new toy, and they wanted to return it and get their money back. But the Ding Dongs returned it with a Beast Wars era. Like I can't remember who. I'm trying to remember who it was, but it was like a Beast Wars toy from the '90s in it instead, which was way better. Way better.
You should have taken it.
I, if I'm not mistaken, I bought it and it's somewhere, and I just can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. Because, I'm not going to... One of the advantages of being a toy collector and working in a place that sells toys is, like, you're going to set one aside for yourself like an asshole. I never scalped them.
Oh, yeah.
If I've met scalpers, looking for them, and the guy's like, oh, I'm going to take all of them. I'm like, you're not going to leave me one? I helped you find them. He goes, oh, you're into this? I'm like, yeah, and I'm not a scalper. He's like, all right, you can have one of these Human Alliance sideswipes. And I'm like, thanks, man. Doing me a favor.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's kind of different, though, like when you're actually working for the place, though. And I mean, as long as you're paying for it, then so what if you get it a little early, or you pick one for yourself, before you...
My experience is a little bit different from y'all's, because for Kmart, I unloaded trucks. So I know what I do.
I knew it was on the trucks.
And I made sure I put those boxes in places that were easily accessible for me. So after because they didn't care, like, if you were off shift, you could buy stuff. So I was like, this aside for myself and this aside, like, I had first dibs on everything. I loved Kmart. I did work a Black Friday for Kmart. But again, I was back room. So I spent most of my time bringing stuff out to be, for
in
people
the back
to buy.
room.
Yeah, but I also filled in as a 01, which is the guy that carries like TVs and stuff outside and help people load things. So I didn't have to run
for Walmart.
My other Black Fridays, let's see, I didn't actually work the GameStop Black Friday, the video game.
He said the word.
Oh my God, you said
the video game store that shall not be named.
Oh man, I'm in so much trouble. I pissed the manager off, so he stopped scheduling me. So I worked there like a lot for the first couple weeks, and then like a week before Black Friday, he just stopped scheduling me. But I kept the discount all the way through the first week of January. So I didn't have to work, and I still got a discount, which was pretty sweet.
Honestly, if you want to be making money, you kind of want to be at work.
And then my most recent one was Best Buy. Academy and Best Buy. I worked Black Fridays for both of those. Academy was similar to Kmart. I was the logistics lead, and I unloaded trucks and stuff. So I was actually like starved for interaction. Like it's about like being lost in the woods by yourself for 10 years when you're the only person who unloads trucks and loads pallets. So like I would
come out
sneak
looking like what's his name, Tom Hanks with the beard and everything.
And I look like this raggedy old homeless guy going up to people like, may I help you?
Wilson!
I love helping people find things. Again, I didn't have to run register. But then Best Buy rolled around. And you know what? I did have to run register a little bit, but I worked at computers. I wasn't the main register guy. So I did have to ring up some stuff. And man,
customer service?
I was legitimately like scared of working at Best Buy during Black Friday because I've heard the stories of people getting into fights and trampled and punched in the face, and they made a huge deal about it. Best Buy did like these are where all the lines are going to be. People are going to have to follow these arrows. We need all this extra stuff to get ready. And then the Black Friday, the day started, and once that initial rush of people that were camping out for 34 hours went through, it was dead. I was like, this is great. I'm like, this is no problem at all.
I actually quit Walmart because I didn't want to have to deal with Walmart Black Friday.
You're a Walmarter?
Very briefly, 5 months.
So we got 2 Walmarters and 3 GSers.
Yep.
2
Does
WN.
anybody participate?
I was never a
in
Walmarter,
Black Friday?
unfortunately.
And I'm an A and a K. And a BB. Wait, there's no point in talking in code anymore.
Just give up.
Kind of already, spoiled.
None of us work for any of these places currently,
That's true.
right?
Not anymore, anyway.
Nope.
So.
All right, so we can say whatever horrible
Yeah.
crap about them we want. It'll never. It
Right.
might get back to
Well,
them. They
he
can't
wants
do anything.
sponsors
Yeah.
though, so he's got to be careful because.
Yeah,
I haven't-
yeah.
Currently a manager at Walmart, so I love you, buddy.
There's a manager at my Walmart that I hate still, and there's a manager at Home Depot that I hate still. So
We live in a different area, so it's not the same person. My buddy, I love you, buddy. So
I thought we were supposed to be talking about Mass Effect.
no,
I mean, it is
That's a
N7
different
day,
show.
But, you know.
Oh.
But
you thought this.
no, it's
Yeah, I
You
did
talk-
because it's
Mass
in
Effect.
7 day, and that's why I thought you were wanting. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Has,
okay.
has anybody worked at Black Friday? Not worked at Black Friday, but like participated in the Black Friday? I'm asked a stupid question.
Hey, Chris, I wouldn't be able to, like, if I was releasing this on N7 day, we would have done it like last week or the week before last.
No, I know you wouldn't release it today, but I thought like you were recording it or would have because today's in 7, and then release it later or something. But
You know what? That's on me. I did not inform anybody what we were doing. We coming
That
in
is
hot.
not true. That is not true. You told us months ago what we would be doing, and
Aha!
I remembered.
Yeah.
All I know is you said, "Hey, you want to get on it at the show?" Whatever. I'm like, "Sure." Didn't even ask what we were talking about. I'm just like, "Okay."
We're just gonna ramble on and talk about
Run the red-
weird things and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not, we kind of always ramble on about stuff anyway, so it's no big deal.
So, has anyone here? Feel free to just jump in. Has anyone here ever actually like done any actual shopping on Black Friday as a consumer?
Yes.
Also,
No,
yeah.
I mean, other than in things I incidentally bought because I had to be working on Black Friday, like that's.
Look at you, too good to go out in the madness and
Well,
get your war face on.
Lately I just do it all digital now ahead of time.
Yeah,
but
there you go. So you do it.
yeah, I mean, back in the day, there were a few times where I actually physically went on Black Friday.
I don't
It's
like.
crazy.
Yeah, having worked retail, I'm like, I don't want to contribute to this mess. I don't want to encourage it. I don't want any of
Yeah.
that.
The two I went to were before I ever worked. In my defense, and the
It's
first
okay.
one went really well. Even at a GS, I actually went in there to get something for my nephew at the time, and there's this guy who kept cutting in line, like, and he wasn't speaking at all. He just kept cutting in line, and we kept telling him to, knock it off. And then finally, the clerk was like, "You need to either leave or go to the back of the line." And I was like, "Yay, someone's paying attention." But that was the only thing bad that happened that day. But then the following year, me and my mom went to the same Walmart that we went to the last year, where everything went fine, and nobody was listening to anybody, and they were all crowding around this like Blu-ray player. And this is like, God, when was this? This is when Blu-ray players were first coming out, but it was like a substandard Blu-ray player, but it was like one of their massive deals. So nobody was paying attention, or nobody was like listening to the Walmart people, and they kept encroaching closer. So me and mom are looking at each other and going, "Well, if we don't get closer, we're not going to get this shit." So like we had to feed into it. And then they kicked everybody out of the store, and me and mom were like, "Yeah, no, we're done." We're like, "Fuck this."
Let's see. I've been to Best Buy and Target a few times during Black Friday. I usually go to just look for like movies on the cheap. But like that one time I went, a couple times I've gone, I end up not buying anything because I get there and I go, "Oh, right, the line is literally 10,000 people long. Like, it's not worth a $5 movie."
Right?
Like,
that's
oh,
the
the
thing.
line.
Oh no, I have a Black Friday equivalent at where I work, and I don't want to get into where I work. I don't want to show my hand, but we haven't done one. What's up?
Does it start with a K?
No.
End with a Roger?
No.
Okay.
Why did you think I work at the K Roger store?
Well, you said it was food retail.
That's true.
There
All
are
right.
so many
There
of
is one of those in town, so.
Or Iggly Way.
Oh, those all died out in this area years ago.
Oh, okay. Mr. Fancy Guy. Too
Good
good
that
for
wolf, he ate them all.
day.
But
Continue. Sorry.
Oh no, the thing I was just gonna say, like it boggles my mind, and maybe I just don't. Like I've heard some people like, oh no, it's fun, and I'm like, that's your idea of fun? But like they'll stand in for hours like in line to like get this.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
And I'm
yeah,
like,
like 24 hours before or something like that, and it's like, no, they'll camp out. It's like, man, nothing's worth that to me anyway.
Yeah, it's like they don't consider opportunity cost is what it is. It's something that my uncle like I didn't understand it. Like it was a few years ago. He's like, it's called opportunity cost. It's what you spend in time and resources to have the opportunity to get the thing
now.
that isn't that isn't necessarily what you pay for it in money. And I'm like, man, like if you could like get you could like do like an odd job and like make a bunch of money doing that in the time you spent trying to get this thing, and then you would have more than made up for what you spent just standing here. Like, because we have people that will come and stand for hours for this one event thing we do at my current job. Like we haven't done one yet this year. I'm scared that one's going to come up later in the year, but I don't know. They haven't said yet.
I had at Best Buy, there was a line forming for a mystery midnight doorbuster, and someone asked me, what's this line for? And I was like, I honestly have no idea. And I told him it was
mystery.
I told him it was a midnight mystery doorbuster. No idea what it is. And then I guess somebody in the line's like, oh, it's got to be an Xbox One because Xbox One just came out. Actually, did PlayStation 4 come out the same year? It did, didn't it?
No, it didn't. I thought
it
was staggered, wasn't it?
I don't even remember.
I think the PS4 came out first, and then the Xbox One came out, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, it ended up being like a TV or something like that. But there was a line of like 50 people just sitting there for freaking 2 hours for an item that they didn't know what it was.
Almost as bad as buying loot boxes.
Oh.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Standing in line, you don't even know what you're gonna get a deal on. You stand in line. What are you
gonna do? Not buy it? Like, is your time that not valuable that like if you didn't like, oh man, I really didn't want to buy this stand in 2 lines for this Furby, but I guess I'll buy it anyway.
the only thing I'll stand in line for is like, you know, theme park rides or fucking doctor appointments or like the DMV. Or DPS
you don't have
here
a choice
in
for
Texas.
that.
But I don't.
Yeah, that's I think that's his point or her point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll.
That's my point. I don't want to stand in line for those things.
Yeah, I'll also stand in line for amusement park rides because that's not fun. Yeah, but you can always play Pokemon Go at the same time. Yeah, we're getting super sidetracked.
That said, I don't know. I think I'm too old for roller coasters anymore. The last time I went to a theme park, I felt like I was like 90. Roller coasters beat me up, and I felt sick afterwards too. I'm like, you young 20-somethings, go ahead, just leave me here.
We're not off topic. It's a metaphor for Black Friday.
Hey, it's talking about standing in line. It's not that far removed.
It's related.
It's related. It's a subtopic.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of crazy stuff, let me just write that down.
Speaking of crazy stuff,
I have an article here from Business Insider. It is entitled "The Craziest Black Friday Horror Stories That Would Make You Never Want to Shop Again" by Megan Willett. Call me. And there's quite a long laundry list of people being terrible, and it'll make you want to nuke the planet. And I just thought I would, just in case we didn't have any stories, highlight some other stories that are beyond insanity.
Let's hear it.
Do it.
All right, give me 1 second. Somebody say something while I find this one.
Somebody say something.
Something.
While I find this one.
I said something.
Nothing. I'm the rebel.
He's a punk. He's like a punk guy with his leather jacket and his short hair on the sides, long hair on the top.
He's the bad guy.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the Misfits. Keep going. I have not found it.
If
is it right in front of your face? Because usually when I can't find something, it's like right in front of me.
There's a good chance.
I heard this great story. You can look it up on YouTube about
Danzig.
Oh.
Mother.
This is gonna get way off topic.
Should I read this as though I'm singing the song "Mother" by Danzig? I'm Mother.
It's okay.
I worked for Best Buy for 6 years. Everyone knows about the lines that you're standing outside. Part of the process is once you get into the store, you stand in another line. Oh, to buy your products. All right, that's enough. Manager thought he was particularly smart winding the line through our appliance department. Mind you, there's usually 1,500 plus people in the building at 6 a.m. with a line still outside trying to get in. Well, we get a complaint from one of our patrons. After checking the dryers, we found a nice turd in one. Good size, solid consistency, just sitting there. A lady who did not want to lose her spot opened the dryer and shat right there in front of everyone.
Oh my god.
I decided that day, even though I may want stuff, I will never shit in front of an entire crowd of people for a $799.50 plasma TV.
That was in question before. Like, she thought maybe that she would shit in front of a group of people.
You know what's crazy? Is she paid $800 for a TV and a shit in front of people.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's an experience you can tell for the rest of your life. Like, I was so dedicated that I took a shit in the fucking washer.
You know what's sad is as I read through these, I realized that there are people that tell stories of like, I remember the time, I punched that 10-year-old in the face so that I could steal his Xbox 360. My little Timmy, who's also a douchebag.
Palmer members.
The old lady wanted a cancer pink ribbon fabric, and the woman she ultimately tackled had called ahead and ordered a bulk amount of it, because she works for a cancer organization and makes blankets for cancer patients.
Oh, jeez.
The woman was wheeling a cart in the store with several large bolts of fabric in it, which she had special ordered ahead of time. We put it in the cart for her so she could continue shopping. An old lady sees that this woman has all of these bolts, and it isn't right that she's hogging the entire stock. The woman explains the situation and that she's in fact special ordered these, and that the reason she was coming in on Black Friday to purchase them is because, you get a coupon off on them. The old lady continues to yell.
A lot more than a coupon.
The woman very calmly keeps trying to reassure her that she's not taking any of the store stock and that she makes blankets for dying women with breast cancer. She's a very sweet store regular who pays out of pocket for all the blankets, and so my store held the fabric for her until Black Friday, where she can come in and purchase them at a discount. Old lady doesn't give a shit, whips out mace and tackles the woman. The old lady gets kicked out of the store. She would come in once every couple of months, give me the stink eye, and then rebelliously write down recipes from the home and food magazines so that she wouldn't have to buy them. Then she'd scurry out only to come back.
Wow.
That you write down, you're stealing recipes from magazines. Like this will show them I'm gonna steal this recipe for scalloped potatoes, bastards.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that one.
I have no words.
Yeah.
Awful people are awful. And you know what? This article, I believe, don't quote me, I think it was from circa 2010, 9, 5, 14, 19, something. One of those.
Sub-year. It was sub-year. I don't know.
It's in the 2000s, so hopefully that old lady's dead.
Probably not, because the old ones that are evil, they tend to make a deal with the devil.
She had it coming,
Yeah, this is pretty crappy.
We all got it coming.
So
one thing that everybody has in common is that they're all going to die one day. Eastwood. I'm trying to remember where I heard that line from. Yeah, I think it was Eastwood. Unforgiven.
I think I got one more for you. So it was the year that the Xbox 360 came out. I was standing in line to get some external hard drives next to the video games, and there was this 11-ish year old kid with a woman in her 60s. He was waiting for his 360 bundle. The woman before him had gotten the last one, and everyone around them all sighed. But then the employee says, nope, one more, and begins the motion of handing it to the kid. This guy comes out of nowhere and pushes the older woman and the kid. The kid hit his face on the edge of a video game rack. You know, the one with the metal and plastic divider?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was 19 years old, and I didn't know what came over me, but I instantly swung for the dude's head and caught him right in the temple. I sent him flying into a Keurig tower in the middle of the aisle. Everyone froze, including me. The guy dropped the 360, got up, and walked away. I slid it with my foot to the kid, and he didn't say anything either, and that 360 probably red-ringed in a few days after that.
Probably.
I added that last part about the red ring.
Okay.
God, I hope it didn't. That would be so screwed up.
Yeah. After that epic story.
After that, yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
361
God,
impossible.
I would have done the same thing too. I wouldn't have cared if I got fired because, like, dude, you like, you don't do that.
Yeah.
No.
People will be evil. All right, one more. I know I said I was done, but one more.
Hey, look, if you as the host aren't allowed to lie to us, I don't know who.
Show you can do what you want, really.
I am your god now.
One more thing.
I worked at security for Target for over 5 years. For being a store in the rougher part of town, I don't have too many horror stories. But the funniest one I would like to tell is a couple years ago is their early doing crowd control. I would always talk to people in line, try to keep them entertained while they waited in the cold. The first couple in line had been there for about 13 or 14 hours. So we open the store and we have deals on all sorts of electronics, toys, etc. They get in line and have a shopping cart full of towels that we had on sale for $2. And that's it. Just towels. They were first in line outside and waited over half a day for $2 towels. When I left after my 12-hour shift, we still had shelves full of these towels, along with tons more in the stock room. They waited 12 to 14 hours for something that they didn't have to wait for at all for. So there you go. I thought that was a good one to illustrate people waiting for stupid shit.
Maybe they really needed those towels. You don't know.
There's a lot of these, so check out that Business Insider thing by Megan Willett. Oh, 2015. Found it. So it's not that old. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about?
I don't know.
About the Black Friday experience, or just
I've actually got to head out. Sorry, dude. I gotta go. So.
Right now?
What?
He needs level 9 clearance so he can take a shit.
I have to exit. Stage left.
Get in the flux,
You
Chris.
were the chosen one.
What?
Tell the people what you're doing, what you're up to, where to find you.
Well, Facebook. That's easy. Nobody wants to find me. I'm nobody.
You are what you believe you are, Chris, and we believe in you. Do you want me to give out your last name so people can find you on Facebook?
Yeah, I don't care.
Chris
Don't
Gray
be great with
one.
envy. Just search for Chris in Facebook, and maybe you might find him.
I don't
All right,
care,
Chris.
honestly, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Get out of here.
All right. Have fun, guys.
Later, buddy.
Fare well, good
Guys,
sir.
what do you mean by guys?
All right. Normally, I'd let the beautiful lady go first, but since Mr. Chris had to go, Zoe, what do you want to say?
I mean, I guess since we're still somewhat loosely talking about Black Friday, I don't know. I think there is usefulness to the whole idea, but it's also kind of just a gross example of how capitalism has ruined society as a whole. To be fair, it reinforces greedy tendencies, and well, I don't think every single store that has a Black Friday sale is going to have those horror stories that we hear about. I don't think every store is going to have a guy murders someone over a fucking TV, but it encourages that shit, I think. And I haven't at the last Black Friday thing that I participated in is when I was still working for Walmart, and I got off work and spent $5 on Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I still haven't beaten that, but that's the last thing that I've done for Black Friday, and it is probably the last thing I will ever do for Black Friday. unless it's online shopping. And even then, I don't usually have the money for that shit.
Well, those were some beautiful closing remarks, and I would like to remind the room that this is a comedy podcast, and now I feel like I hate myself for shopping on Black Friday.
Hey, look on the bright side. Apparently, Black Friday is kind of in decline. People are wising up to the fact they can just buy online. They don't need to go fight everybody.
Yep, Cyber Monday.
That's where it's at.
Well, that's the thing with stores in general. That's why GameStop is having problems. That's why Toys R Us went under.
You mean
no, not
big
entirely.
GF.
It's not the entire reason why Toys R Us went under. Greedy CEOs and stupid prices were what partially made them go under. But shopping online is a lot better. It's funny how many people, and I'm going to use air quotes here, normal people scoff at how people don't like to be around people, but it's true. We are around people when we have to be, and that was how it used to be. You'd have to go to a store to pick up this physical item, and now you don't. So what are you going to choose? You're going to go deal with the crowds where you might get decked, or buy online from like Amazon, even though their CEO is also a greedy fucktard. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. Nick, you got anything? Where you at? What you doing? Where to find you?
Oh yeah, no, I've got a Project Rexx on Facebook. I think it's Nicodemus Rexx. There's 2 X's, by the way. I don't know why there's 2 X's. It seemed like a good idea when I was like 25. And I'm on Twitter as Nicodemus Rexx. I think I have Project Rexx Patreon too, if you want to throw money at me for some reason. And
I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, sure, I will. I'm also TH4RLDEAL deal on
Don't you cuss at me.
on DeviantArt, which I haven't really been posting a lot there lately.
For real deal.
Yeah, the for real deal. Spelled all wrong because I thought that was funny when I was getting straight out of high school.
I liked it.
It's okay. Yours is better than mine. My DeviantArt name is pretty bad.
Mine is Breaker of some variety. Actually, I think mine on DeviantArt is Trip to Breaker. I'm not plugging anything. Sorry, Nick. Were you done?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, in the interest of closing remarks, unless there's a specific spot for that in a minute.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, to follow up, finish out for me, a great quote, I think applicable to this glorious Black Friday, from the show Justified, starring Timothy Oliphant, wherein he plays not a police officer, like a marshal, and he kept having run-ins with this guy all day, who was up to no good, and he was always giving him stink eye, and finally he says, if you meet an asshole in the morning, you met an asshole. If you meet assholes all day, you might be the asshole.
Very nice. That was a good show.
It was. I loved it.
As for me, hold this podcast close. If she's kind enough to allow you to wander her beautiful podcast body, and you happen to gander under her shirt, that's where you'll find the description information, places to find Nick, and links to things like our TeePublic store and our other podcast, Pokemon After Darkrai. Check that shit out. My closing remarks are not going to be quite as beautiful or meaningful or smart sounding as other people might have gone before me. I'll just bleep them all out so that I sound like the smartest guy in the room. Overpopulation is a thing. There's not enough stuff to go around for everyone. So at some point we got to wonder if enough stuff is enough. Do you need that $5 fucking toaster? Like, when you have a perfectly good toaster at home, do you need that fucking 20% off a goddamn trampoline? Probably not. We are basically spoiled. Do we need all the things that we want? No. We just want all the things that we want. We want them for cheap, and we want them fast. And it's greedy, and you don't need to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if you're going to buy stuff, pay attention to what you buy. Make sure the companies that you're supporting are, on the up and up. I know it might be cheap, but that company might treat their employees like garbage. They might test on animals. They might support racist, homophobic corporations. Shit like that. Pay attention to the stuff you buy. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I was actually going to say something really funny, but instead I actually went for the gold there.
Yeah.
I was going to say something like grab your armor and shit and get ready to fight to the death in Mortal Kombat for your $3 fucking junk to placate your demon children at Christmas. Ugh. Just a quick heads up. After this episode, we are taking 2 weeks off. There will be no episodes for 2 whole weeks in December. Don't you gasp, Nick, because you and me are recording another Infected during that time. You're not off the hook, buddy.
Oh, no. I mean,
Bret
yes.
will be playing with himself the entire 2 weeks. Don't let him fool you.
I tell you what, you could pretend like you're listening to the show. That's great. Or go through the back catalog. Or check out our brand new YouTube page. God damn it. I'm backing up all the episodes from all 3 seasons. It's slowly coming together. All of season 3's up. Season 3 so far. And then I'm slowly working on season 1. By the time this comes out, season 1 should be done. And then I'll just keep going from there. Check that out. Just search Let's Die Podcast or the episode you want. Just search the title of that. It should come up. That's the name of it for now. I might change it later. I haven't decided, but that's just a fun place to back stuff up. So check us out there. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for a little something that I don't want to spoil yet, but it's pretty good. Pretty good, I might say, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Just 2 more things to say now. One is hi, Mom, bye, Mom. And the other one is if we're going to die, and y'all can feel free to jump in on this with me.
Let's die together.
Hey! Thanks, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Anytime, citizen.
Citizen.
Hey, this show is brought to you by #Team Cyanide, Let's Die, the His vs. Hers Guide to the Apocalypse, the podcast, and Pokemon After Darkrai. Check out our family of merchandise over at teepublic.com/user/Team Cyanide. Check out the all-new Happy Birthday Pod Dog shirt to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, the Season 3 logo for Let's Die, and keep checking back for our back catalog of merchandise to show up in the future. Also, check out the all-new Grackle a Tackle shirt. You can get stickers, mugs, bags, and more. So check that stuff out, and thank you very much. Bye!
As much as they like hearing everybody scream into the phone, it's like the best besides burping.
It's like burping, eating, and screaming is the holy trifecta of podcasting. Like
I guarantee there's going to be dogs barking probably in my background here in a bit.
Well, that's just unacceptable. Burping, screaming, and eating on mic is encouraged,
It's
but
like the
dogs
Holy
we just
Trinity.
can't handle. Right, Jen. Oh, I had a dog next to me and she abandoned me. Hang on a second.
She was offended.
She was.
Well, I'm offensive.